Hello, Commander. There's a Russian soldier suffering emotional damage at the like button. Send him some vitamins and save his life. Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the summary for the day of 949 for the 29th of September. And for the Ukraine war or the special military operation in Ukraine, frontline changes report as usual is already out, and there is still more frontline changes over at Katerynivka. So there is a geolocation of Russian forces in the totally new position just south of Katerynivka. This is Konstantinivka at the Donetsk front, and Russian forces geolocated along this tree line, confirming that the Russians have actually made more advance around the south of Katerynivka. It seems like they are building a wider base before they launch the attack against Katerynivka in a multi-prone attack. So tentatively, it seems like they are trying to get a foothold on the other side of this river or water body system. So they have successfully moved over to the other side. So this is where the frontline change is. So we're going to move into the strategy and tactical reporting, and to remember to save the Russian soldiers' life. No emotional damage is very scarring. Thing. They'll get ADHD. Anyway, we're gonna go into the Kherson front. So okay, you should go to the Kurs front because the Kurs front is more interesting right now because of the emotional damage. So over in the Kurs front, the Ukrainians are still on their counter offensive with the Russians on the counter offensive. So no one is doing offensive. Actually, both is doing offensive. Over in the Glushkovo sector, Ukrainians are having some success. So this is Glushkovo. This is where the Ukrainian prime objective at this sector is, and Ukrainian forces have expanded their zone of control. From yesterday's report, we have this Veseloe captured, but the Russians claimed otherwise. They claimed that they still have control of the center part of most of the Veseloe region. However, further geolocations have shown that the Ukrainian forces has expanded their control, including Russian mapping also claimed that the Ukrainian forces have taken all the position west of Urbakovka and south of Urbakovka. Urbakovka, at this moment, the Russians claim that it's a gray zone, and also over in the north of Abod. So the Ukrainians are making some advance. According to the Russians, they say that the Ukrainians attack in the flanking movement west of Veseloe, going towards the north of Veseloe. And there's also rumors saying that these Ukrainian forces has been already defeated, but let's wait for evidence. Okay, so not so easy, just to say, oh, you say they defeated, then they defeated. Where got so easy one, right? So so the Russians are now going to have to hold defense in the south of Sikinovka and Kalinina, and the situation at Volfino as well as Krasno-Otypelsky now is in question again, because the Ukrainian forces could attack in or probably already overrun this position again. So there's no fighting being reported at the Medvedze region. So all the concentration is now in this breakout region for the Ukrainians, and they are not really far now from Glushkovo. So looking from Glushkovo, we are measuring around 4.6 kilometers. Safe, near, not near, safe, far, not far. So, but there is not a lot of terrain left. It's just some forest and forest line and forest regions. So let's see how these continue to develop over in this Glushkovo sector. Over in the western flank of the Kursk front, the Russian force. Oops, sorry. No, I know you got dizzy. I'm so sorry. Russian forces are attacking at Lyubimovka, Darino, and Nikolaevo Darino. This is very, very normal now. By now, they are always fighting in this area. Ukrainian forces are counter-attacking over at Lyubimovka. So strategically, tactically, nothing have changed around this area here. The northern flank, the Ukrainian forces are attacking over in Ogovka, Kremyanoe, as well as Pogrebki. So Ukrainians are now really concentrating their efforts to pushing the Russians in the northern flank, as the Russians are now struggling at the Grushkovo sector, and they're also struggling to make any breakthroughs over in the western flank. So Ukrainian forces are probably trying to take the advantage and see whether they can do something more. A lot of geolocation of Russian airstrikes all over the place, which doesn't change anything. It's just basically showing that they are getting airstriked. Otherwise, this is the strategic situation in the northern flank. Over in the southern flank, the Russian forces are continuing the attack in Blakovo. Ukrainian forces are counterattacking this region. The geolocation have shown that the Russian forces have made a significant advance south of Blakovo. Most likely is not going to hold for a very long time unless they manage to capture some position in the forest which the Ukrainian forces were geolocated, because this is open ground. The armored vehicles, the soldiers can't really stay here and entrench themselves, and unless they make a direct push into Blakovo, then maybe that is something. We also cannot be sure of the situation on the western part of Borky, nor the exact situation at Borky as well. So if assuming that the Russians are correct, Borky is under Russian control, we will also need to know what's the status of this forest or west of Borky, because if the Russians have positions around here, then this entire situation over here will be more sustainable. Maybe they have this forest and then they can attack into Blakovo more easier. So at this moment, we have no evidence that they are there. It could be just armored assault through the open grounds, and so this is not a confirmed capture per se, but we will mark it as a capture on our mapping first, and until it was proven otherwise. So that's all from the Kursk front. We move into the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, the Russian forces continue their operations over at Lipsy as well as Voschansk. There is nothing special, nothing peculiar from this area here. Over at the Voschansk region, geolocation of Russian airstrike on the aggregate plant again. So the Ukrainians holding up at the plant is just a sitting duck. They're just waiting to get shelled or striked. Over in the Kupiansk front. So at the Kupiansk front, Russian forces are attacking towards Katerynivka, and shelling was reported at Kupiansk. And that's about it. There's also a chance that the Russians are attacking Kupiansk itself, but we can't be sure. The way how the Russian Defense Ministry reported, they say that they engaged manpower and material at Kupiansk or near Kupiansk, but it's hard to tell exactly what they're supposed to mean, because you can engage them by artillery as well. So it's hard to say. Over in the Pischany front, at the Pischany front, we have fighting reported at Novo-Osinove, Kuryakivka, Lozova, and Vishneve, which is just below. So strategically, nothing have changed compared to the situation report yesterday. The other one is over here, Vishneve. And it could also suggest that the Andriivka is now under Russian control, because fighting was previously not reported at Vishneve. But we shall see how these develop as it goes along. Over in the Svetove front, we have fighting reported at Makiivka and Nevsky. Russian Defense Ministry and the Russian sources reported that Makiivka is under Russian control. They announced the capture. So let's continue to wait and see. Based on our mapping per se, yeah, I mean Makiivka is basically almost there. So it's just a little bit here that we're still looking for evidence that they have captured it, but most likely it's going to be the case, because Makiivka is pretty much compromised. Over in the Crimea front, Russian forces are attacking towards Bilohorivka, Zarishny, Torske, Tserevansky Forestry, and Khorivka. So that's about it in the Crimea front. Nothing special to talk about. Over in the Siversk front, at the Siversk front, Russian forces are attacking Verkhovno-Kayamsky and Siversk. That's all. Again, this is very minimal reporting. Over in the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front, we have fighting reported at Chastivya and towards Bilohora. Russian forces has been geolocated at Andriivka, and this actually helps us to confirm the Russian forces have captured Andriivka. So with this geolocation, most likely the Russians have full control over Andriivka right now. But this village is super flat; it's as flat as it goes. So it doesn't really matter, tactically speaking. But in terms of PR, they can say that they actually have captured another settlement. Over in the New York front, at the New York front, Russian forces are attacking at Torex, Katerynivka, and Nelipivka. Shelling is reported at Alexandro Kalinove. So otherwise, there's no details on the exact changes around here. This is just being reported as such. Over in the Pokrov front, in the northern flank of the Pokrov front, Russian forces are attacking towards Zelenopole, Vozdevizenka, Novotoretsk, and towards Mariolibivka. Shelling is reported at Tarasivka. So that's all from the northern flank. I don't think there's anything happening right here per se. Over in the Horodivka sector, in the Horodivka, Novohorodivka sector, Russian forces are attacking at Horodivka, Mykolaievka, Krutya, Lysivka, and fighting towards Dechanske. This continues to be efforts that a lot of things that probably is not reported, particularly over in the Lysivka, Dechanske region. There is geolocation that was already mentioned in yesterday's situation report, so I'm not going to rehash. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry did mention fighting at Zuravka. But Zuravka in our mapping is already overrun by the Russian forces, so this is a bit out of place. Over in further south, over in the Selidove region, Russian forces are fighting in the region of Selidove, most likely coming from the south. There is this consolidation of the front line, which I already mentioned previously. So in the situation report, there are further geolocations south of Marinivka, confirming this capture of Marinivka. But that's about it from the Selidove sector. Over further south in the Hernik region, Russian forces are attacking Sukirine, Hernik, as well as Alexandropil. So this is the first time in a while, since 21st, it's been more than a week that we have heard any fighting around Alexandropil. So the Russians are making some moves, but we just have to continue to wait and see how this develop. So situation is not good. Strategically, this is a horrible place for the Ukrainians. Moving into the Kharkov sector, Russian forces are attacking towards Kharkov and also Georgievka. The Russians have destroyed this crossing north of Kharkov towards Nova Ilinka. So there is a small little village of Nova Ilinka around here, and there is a geolocation that the bridge was destroyed by the Russian missile strike. So let's see. It looks like the Russians are getting closer and closer. Over in the Voleda Konstantinivka sector, Russian forces are fighting in the region of Konstantinivka, towards Katerynivka, towards Yelizavetivka, towards Bohovyevlenka, and at Voleda. There's a multiple geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit all around Voleda by FPV drones, as well as just south of Bohovyevlenka. These are all FPV drone strikes according to the geolocations. The Russian forces themselves are geolocated south of Katerynivka, which I already mentioned, with the Russians taking some grounds around here. So this will slowly set up the Russians in this way eventually, which allows the Russians to attack it in multiple vectors of attack. So let's wait and see how this continues to develop over in this sector. At the Velika Novosilka sector, there is only fighting reported near Velika Novosilka. So that's about it in this area here. Over the Zaporizhia front, the fighting is now exclusively over in Orkiv sector. Fighting is reported by the Ukrainian and Russian Defense Ministry over in, I think I need to zoom out a bit, over in Kopani region towards Novodanilivka and Malatomachka. So there's no fighting reported at Robotine, unlike the past few days. So that's out from the Orkiv region. And moving on to the Kherson front. At the Kherson front, we only have shelling reported at Shevchenkove, or rather, yeah, this is Kotlia Rovo. It's actually Kotyarevi. Yeah, I forgot to write the name. Kotyarevi. So Kotyarevi was shelled by the Russian Defense Ministry, or not. Russian Defense Ministry reported the shelling over there. There is also geolocation of a Russian airstrike near what is this place? Molodivzin, Dniprianske, yeah, or Disney. Yeah. So that's all. There is no fighting reported at the Pridniprovsky direction. So that's all from the Kherson front, very quiet. And that's about it. So this is the situation report for the day of 9:49 for the 29th of September. Press the like button, subscribe. I'm feeling so sleepy. And I'll see you guys in the next update.